Good morning, beloveds. I'm running a little behind today. But it's Wednesday. That means workout day, weightlifting day. And Gabby is definitely got something to say today, so she's going to contribute to the commentary today. What? All right. It is August 25th. Our title is I Have Perfect Life. The Bible quote is, "But thou art the same, and thy years have no end." That is Psalm 102, line 27. The life of God is the life of man, for there is only one life. This life must be perfect, for it is the action of a perfect intelligence and a beneficent power. The mind, which acts as life, being a unity, could not conceive disease, for such would destroy its unity. Therefore, life is perfect, spiritual, and eternal. I am the expression of life, so there can be nothing in me but perfect health at every instant. Disease cannot operate in me, for I refuse to let it. I recognize illness as unnecessary and a failure on my part to know my life as the life of God. I believe in one God, so all life must be one life. There cannot be a sick life and a well life. There is only one life, acting in one way as health, vitality, and freedom of action. This is my life now, and I rejoice in it. My body is eternally made new by it, and my consciousness is eternally refreshed by it. Every cell that is not perfectly expressing God's life is now cleansed, renewed, and restored by my right thought about life. Life cannot know age. It does not measure time. Life can only act in my body in one way, as health. Life, being greater than I am and wiser than I am, cannot be defeated by my wrong thinking. It always is itself, and upon my recognition, it becomes its perfect health in me. This is now true, and my health is permanent and complete. My thought is dedicated to health, and my emotions respond to health. Regardless of all so-called material causations of disease, I stand firmly in the mind on the platform of health. I refuse to believe that any situation or condition can make me ill. God is my health now and forevermore. All right. So the first thing that I am going to iterate, because I'm not going to reiterate, but I will reiterate, is when you are doing treatment work, especially around the idea of health, especially if you are working on a condition, an effect, then what you want to focus on is the health. You don't want to give any attention at all to the dis-ease. Whatever condition that you are working on, you do not want to give any attention at all to that condition. So when you are doing treatments for health, whatever the condition may be, what you are focused on is the perfection of the body. You are focused on the immune system doing its job. You are focused on the cells renewing. You are focused on the cells shedding. Shedding the cells that have done their job. They've done their job and they're done. So you focus on the body doing that kind of work. You don't ever focus on the dis-ease. And I'm phrasing it that way for a reason. You also, because he mentioned mental health. So I can say in a regular conversation that I have been diagnosed with anxiety, I have been diagnosed with depression, I have been diagnosed with seasonal affect disorder. But when I go into treatment, I don't focus on any of that. I don't focus on the diagnosis. What I focus on is my brain and my hormones working correctly, working in harmony, working in peace. So I focus on them working, and so that is when you read these things and you go, but this is not my experience. And almost all of us have had some kind of experience there. What they're telling you is that in your treatment work, in your spiritual work, that's what you're focused on, is the perfection, the wholeness, the everything working correctly. And in your regular everyday life, then that's you still don't want to focus on the disease. You know, you don't want to focus on what isn't working. You want to focus on what's working right. But that's where you deal with the day-to-day, okay, this is what's going on and these are the steps that I need to take to deal with that. In your spiritual work, you're focused on everything working right. So that's what he's doing here. I have perfect life. In your spiritual work, focus on everything working perfectly. And in the present tense, even if it doesn't feel like it. Because that's how we get there. That's how we get there. So the psalm, so I have perfect life is the title. But thou art the same, and thy years have no end. Like I said, with Reverend Norm, the suggestion when you take a Bible quote out of context, sometimes it doesn't make as much sense as if you would go back and read it in context. So go back and read Psalm 102. Because that's line 27, and see what the rest of the psalm had to say. Okay, so in our spiritual work, the life of God is the life of people. That's what we teach in Science of Mind. There is one life. We are all sharing in that same life, which means we are all sharing in God's life. For there is only one life. This life must be perfect. Remember that a definition of perfect is whole. This life must be whole, for it is the action of a perfect or whole intelligence and a beneficent power. Because we believe that it is beneficial. We believe that it is creative. Creativity does create some chaos. Any artist will tell you that. Because when you are doing art, it's messy. So, but the end result is where the beauty is. So sometimes we have to get through the chaos to get to the beauty. The mind, which acts as life, being a unity, and notice I said unity, not uniformity, being a unity could not conceive disease, for such would destroy its unity, which is the point of when you go into spiritual work, when you go into consciously into that divine mind, into that unity, you are focused on the perfect, the whole, not the disease, not what would disrupt unity. Therefore, life is perfect, spiritual, and eternal. I am the expression of life. When you open your eyes first thing in the morning, say that to yourself. I am the, not a, the. I am the expression of life. It's not ego. It's not ego. I am the expression of life. As me. So there can be nothing in me but perfect health at every instant. So when I wake up in the morning, then what I can say to myself is I am the expression of life. So there can be nothing in me but perfect health at every instant. Disease cannot operate in me, for I refuse to let it. We are refusing the action of disunity in our treatment work, in our spiritual work. You don't have to do it 24/7. What you do it is you make a conscious effort, and then you set it in your back burner and you let it bubble in your back burner and you get on with your life. All right. If we tried to do this 24/7, we would end up white knuckling it, and we would also try to use our own willpower, which is not. Again, we'd end up white knuckling it. So we do it consciously in our spiritual practice. We put it in our subconscious. We let it boil, and then we use God's willpower, not ours. And that means that when we catch ourselves thinking the opposite, then we can go, nope, nope, nope. I've done this work. This is what I'm focused on. So you can bring yourself back. You know, when you do meditations and they say bring yourself back to your breath. So when you're focused on health and you start thinking about something that is not health, then you don't beat yourself up about it. Just say nope and bring yourself back to the focus on health for a minute, even a moment. It doesn't even have to be a full minute, a moment. And then set it back in your subconscious and get on with your day. I recognize illness as unnecessary, and okay, this does hit a little hard. I recognize illness as unnecessary, which I believe it is, and a failure on my part to know my life as my life as the life of God. Okay, when we say that failure, that can border on a spiritual bypass. It can also border on, oh my God, what did I do wrong? You didn't. You are having an experience, and you are having an experience. So when we say failure, we are not saying you are a failure. I am not saying I am a failure. What I am saying is here's what I need to focus on. I need to go back and focus on the fact that my life is God's life, and God's life is perfect. So that word is a little hard to hear. I know. I believe in one God, so all life must be one life. There cannot be a sick life and a well life. There is only one life acting in one way as health, vitality, and freedom of action. There's your statement of power. Feel free to use that sentence in your treatment work. If you want to lift up the whole paragraph, if you want to use the whole 3 paragraphs in your treatment work, please do that. Feel free to use Ernest's words. That's why he wrote them down. This is my life now, and I rejoice in it. My body is eternally made new by it. And interestingly enough, according to science, that is exactly what happens. Our shells are constantly shedding and regenerating. So why not claim that power of God in doing it? And saying that it is doing it appropriately and in a timely manner and perfectly. Claim it. My body is eternally made new by it, and my consciousness is eternally refreshed by it. My consciousness is eternally refreshed by it. That's what I mean. You consciously focus on it, and then you set it in your subconscious and let it do its work. Every cell that is not perfectly expressing God's life is now cleansed, renewed, and restored by my right thought about life. Which includes a lot more than just thinking about it, because we say treat and move your feet. So you do your treatment work, and then you go out and you take right action as well. But if you start with the right thought, then right action cannot help but to follow. Life cannot know age. It does not measure time. Life can only act in my body in one way, as health. Life, being greater than I am and wiser than I am, cannot be defeated by my wrong thinking. So I can get in my way to a point, only to a point. And life is going to help me out, even when I am in my own way. Really? You sure about that, Gabby? It always is itself. And upon my recognition, it becomes its perfect health in me. And that's what we talk about. Healing is about revealing the truth. It's about knowing who you are. It's about knowing who you are. And what I say every single day is you are a beloved child of God. All right. This is now true, and my health is permanent and complete. My thought is dedicated to health, and my emotions respond to health. regardless of all so-called material causation of disease, I stand firmly in mind on the platform of health. And that's what I'm talking about. So you go to the doctor tells you this, and you go, okay, the truth of me is not this. I'm going to follow the directions of the doctor. I am going to, do my own reading. I may go for a second opinion. I'm going to do what I need to do, but I am going to know that the truth of me is not this diagnosis. Which is why frequently I will tell people I have been diagnosed with anxiety, depression, seasonal affect disorder, but that's not who I am. That is not who I am. So, I am going to stand on a platform of health. I refuse to believe that any situation or condition can make me ill. The core of me, the center of me, the truth of me, that part where I meet God, that can never be sick. It can never be ill. So the truth of me cannot be. This body, well, but when it doesn't function perfectly, I know where to go. I know where to go. I go within, I know the health, and then I take right action, and I accept that doctors and nurses and pharmacists, they're all the hands and feet of God too. So, I would, do what you need to do. God is my health now and forevermore. So I recognize all of the parts of God. Yes, God is my health. The first place I'm going to go is within to God. And then I'm going to go and look around and go, these are all the children of God. These are all godlings. They are all going to use the wisdom of God, and they are going to help me take care of the material part of me. The spiritual part of me, ain't nothing going to touch that. Ain't nothing going to touch that. All right. Our mission today, should we choose to accept it? I don't even know. There's a lot in here. Actually, where was that sentence? Okay, our mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to know that we are the expression of life. Not a. We are the expression of life. So there can be nothing in us but perfect health at every instant. Know that. Know that. That is what I'm going to carry into my spiritual work today. That is what I'm going to put on the back burner in my subconscious today. I am the expression of life. You are the expression of life. All right? And as I always do, I'm going to encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like today. Be it big, be it small, be it, for me today, that was weightlifting. Well, it was a lot of squats is what it was. But there was some weightlifting. And if yours is taking a nap, so be it. Cuddling with a cat, as you heard me get yelled at on a regular basis by that little orange Harridan. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself. Be loving, be kind, be compassionate with yourself, because you deserve your own loving, kind compassion. You absolutely deserve it. And the more you practice on yourself, the more you'll have to share. All right? I do encourage you to engage your mind and your body today, whatever that looks like. Do go get a face full of sun, because we've got some weather coming and we may not see the sun for a little while. So we might as well get it while we enjoy it. 5-10 minutes. First thing in the morning. It honestly can do wonders for your hormones. And then drink plenty of water. Always, always, always drink plenty of water. It is Wednesday, which means the Living Science of Mind book study is today. If you're interested in that, I think they're doing it on Zoom. Email info@creativelife.org to get that. I think it's at 6 p.m. I think that's why I've never been able to do it, because I get off at 6. But that's a fantastic book study. And Reverend David should be on Facebook Live around 5 p.m. I will be back with you at 9 a.m. Whatever else it is that you choose to do today, please open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven now. It takes your willingness to look around and to see the good. The more you look, the more you see, the more you see, the more there is. It's the way it works. So please catch us on Facebook, catch us on Instagram. We're Creative Life Spark on Instagram, just so you know. Catch us on YouTube. The Creative Life Spiritual Center YouTube, that is the name of it. Thought it would be easier that way. And these are archived on the Running Rev Ryan YouTube channel, so feel free to catch those too. And I will see you next time. Know that you're loved. Know that you are loved. You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased always and forever. That's our state of grace. All right. See you next time.